Good afternoon, 7th grade Bobcats. Welcome back to what I hope will be a great week for each and every one of you at the Helena Middle School. On today's Bob lesson, we're going to continue with part 2, being a respectful bystander at HMS. This was some work that Mr. Semensky put together when he was working on his school counseling internship. Obviously, he's now at Smith Elementary School being a school counselor, but he had a lasting impact on our culture and just being a teacher here at HMS for a lot of years, and so going to run with his Bob lesson again. I know a lot of you knew Mr. Semensky when he was last year as 6th graders. Hopefully maybe had PE. If not, you probably saw him around. So again, on this Bob lesson, I'm going to talk about being a respectful bystander, and I can't stress enough how much I encourage all of you to, you see something wrong, you say something, help improve and make our culture the best it can be. Sometimes other people need a third party to step in and step up for what's right. So I encourage all of you to do that. Encourage all of you to have a great week.
Yeah, and some things that came up when I was talking to students about bystanders is the Good Samaritan law. Somebody says, doesn't the Good Samaritan law say we're supposed to take action? And that's not what the Good Samaritan law does. It protects people who give reasonable assistance, at least legal, if there's a medical emergency. So if somebody's lying on the ground and you know how to do CPR, the Good Samaritan law says, hey, take action, do some CPR. If they get broken ribs, it's, you're legally covered there. It says nothing about not helping. But there is a law, the duty to rescue law, and this requires people to offer assistance if they know how, requires it, but only during a medical emergency. So nothing for a stolen cell phone that you're taking a picture of in terms of law. In the state of California, Florida, Hawaii, Massachusetts, and all the way down the line, they do have a duty to rescue law, but Montana does not. So something to think about. Another one came up when I was asking students, what is the difference between a bystander and an accomplice? So let's say that a piece of candy was just taken, you were there to witness it, and a teacher walks into the room, busted, right? And the person who stole the piece of candy starts passing it backwards down the line. There's a group of people there, and everybody who touched that piece of candy trying to get it away from the original thief is an accomplice. They're trying to hide what has been done. But if you're a bystander and you don't grab that piece of candy, you are not part of the event, and you're not an accomplice. I hope that is a little bit more clear. Other things, I got another video as I was doing my research on bystanders, and maybe it's, not our fault if we don't step in. Maybe it's a situation where it's unsafe for us to step in. Maybe a fight just broke out and we're watching it. And I'm not telling you to go out there and break up fights, not at all. I want you to be safe. But if you do see something like Anthony, the bully, pushing on Tori, step in there. Do something right if you feel comfortable, but definitely not if you don't. Another thing that came up in my research was this thing called the bystander effect. So let's check it out and see what this looks like. Maybe it's out of our control. Anyway, check it out and see what happens.
If a stranger needed help, how long would it take you to offer them a hand? According to psychology, the answer to that question may depend less on who you are as a person and more on how many people are with you at the time. In a strange paradox of human nature, the more people there are in a group, the less likely anyone is to offer help. It's called the bystander effect, and it may be a roadblock that's keeping you from showing empathy. When someone is in need, people in large groups tend to feel that they don't need to do anything because someone else will take care of it. This is known as the diffusion of responsibility. The end result is nobody does anything. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you. We started with a large group of 10 people and told them they were here today to see a product demonstration. So we're just basically looking for emotional reactions to certain products. We're not quite ready to go yet. So as you can see, you have these surveys. Go ahead, start filling them out. Take all the time you need with them. I am going to go get the product and just kind of start throwing it together, and then we're going to begin. Sound good, everyone?
Okay.
Cool. Thanks. Here's the thing, though. Everybody but one of these people wasn't in on it. We gave her a 10-minute window where she could offer to help. Let's see if she comes to my rescue. We repeated this a few more times, with varying results. Come on. That doesn't sound good. Next, we tried it with a group of 5. Oh, jeez. So far, it's not looking good for people in general. Are we just plain unhelpful, or is there something to the bystander effect? To find out, let's see how helpful people are when they're all by themselves.
Hi.
The results? With our group of 10 people, it took our participants an average of 8 minutes and 1 second before they lent a hand. Excuse me, thank you.
Can I help?
Oh,
I just feel
thanks.
bad.
Participants in our groups of 5 were a little quicker, saving me from the tent with an average time of 7 minutes and 25 seconds. I'm okay.
Do you help?
Do you want to give me a hand?
Yeah.
That'd be great, thank you.
What can I do?
But when our participants were by themselves, that is when they really shined. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. On average, they offered to step in just 3 minutes and 19 seconds. You were the fastest by a country mile. I have set this thing up by myself 7 times today.
That makes me sad.
You took a total of 12 seconds. Why do you think you're so quick to do it?
I like to help
Mm-hmm.
in any way that I can.
That's the funny thing about the bystander effect. You would think that a group with more people would mean there's a higher chance someone would do something. But people in a group are actually less likely to help.
I knew I should have just stood up and done it, but then a big part of me wanted to see what these people would do, and I was just kind of like, are any of them gonna help?
At first, I was a little shy to jump in and help, but then after a while, I just like, I'm just gonna jump in and help.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Sorry it took 8 minutes.
When it's just the 2 of us in a space, there's like a bond that's created. It's like, well, I'm not going to let you struggle on your own. And I think if there is a group of people, it's way more acceptable for me to be doing that.
It's the diffusion of responsibility.
I think that's totally true.
If something is saying jump in and offer to help, just follow that intuition. Even if no one else is saying anything, just, hey, if you can be a part of helping someone, instead of just watching them struggle, or even take out your cell phone and like tape it or something like that, which is the worst, just offer some help.
So, now that you know about the bystander effect, ask yourself, how often do you feel like you should help someone but don't because you think somebody else will do it? Maybe next time, you will be that somebody.
So, guys, it's something to think about. Like the bystander effect. You know, when you're walking down the hall and there's 20, 30, 100 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders all around you. You know, the goal of really any day that we wake up is to make it the best day we possibly can. And as a bystander, we have some power to control that. If you see something that it's just not okay, it's not sitting right, and you feel comfortable stepping in and standing up for what's right. Maybe you see Anthony knocking the books out of Tori's hand. You pull on Isaac and jump in there and say, hey, not okay, not right. You know, that makes our school a better place to come and learn. Something to think about. A couple more things came up that we're going to show you here. So check those out if you enjoyed it. Otherwise, as a bystander, you have some power. So let's go out there, use it, make our school a better place. And as always, I'll see you guys around school. Have a great day.
right, this week's Jellybean question of the week. Sammy was out for a walk when it started to rain. He did not have an umbrella, and he was not wearing a hat. His clothes were completely soaked, yet not a single hair on his head got wet. How could this happen? If you think you know, submit your answer to the Bob Box no later than Friday. Tune in next week to see if you're a winner. All right, 7th graders, let's make it a great week at the Helena Middle School.